saw like Rhett or any of the other Brood War Legends streaming, you guys are missing out. Those are some sick streams. Anyway, it looks like set number 2 is going to get going here. It's going to be stats coming out for KT Rolster. And I don't know who's playing. Alright guys, I'll answer more questions later on. Amlitzer actually is a good question that I'll actually answer first because I like it. He says, how do you like Noni, Idra, and In Control when they were all mediocre at Brood War? The reason, liking foreigners is different from liking Koreans. Because I don't understand Korean and I don't know much about Korean players, I like Koreans based on their skill and their playing style for the most part, and the occasional interview. So I love Stork, and I love Zero, because I'm Protoss and he does amazing things with carriers and reavers and whatnot. And I love Zero because he does amazing things with queens. His gameplay is really exciting. The reason you like foreigners is not for their gameplay, but more their personality and their individual styles and stuff, rather as opposed to just pure skill. So it's a little bit different there. Anyway, it looks like he's playing against Speed. Is that Speed? AKA Real 2 or Really? Is it actually pronounced Really? You know how Harangi, it's Harang 2, but you pronounce it Harangi? Oh, by the way, hold on. Okay, can anybody tell me? Okay, guys. Oh, background noise is too loud. But guys, you know S2? Is his name actually pronounced C? Is this name actually pronounced C? Because it's S2, right? But the 2 could be an E. So maybe S2 is actually also pronounced C. But we already have C. We already have Sweaty Hand C. So actually there's no way to tell the difference between S2 and C. They're actually both C. I just blew all of your minds. That's right. There are actually 2 C's in Pro League. Boom! Boom. Alright, shut up about that heart nonsense. That's wrong. It's C, alright? It's C. Oh, just wanted to get that off my chest. You guys have no idea how long that's been bothering me. I've literally been thinking about that for the last 3 weeks, whether S2 is pronounced C. But anyway, it's gonna be a PvZ here. Oh, sorry, wait. It is Speed, right? Wait, I thought Speed was Terran. Is Real 2 not actually Speed? Are they not the same person? I could be making a terrible mistake here. Yeah, I think I made a mistake. I'm just gonna put Real 2. These guys freaking... They're all freaking rookies, I don't know. They all look like the same person to me. Whatever. Alright, sorry about that. Alright, it's Really is going to be the Zerg player at the top left. Stats is going to be the Protoss at the bottom right. We are on Neo Sniper Ridge, and it looks like it's going to be a Forge Fast Expand from Mr. Stats. Actually, interestingly, it looks like my bottom taskbar thing doesn't show up when I'm using the Twitch TV widescreen or full screen. Cool. You guys can't see my taskbar right now, right? Huh. Interesting. That is very interesting. Anyway, wait, somebody's saying that Real 2 is pronounced Really. No way, I don't believe that for a second. Whatever. It is going to be a Forge Fast Expand. Interestingly, it's going to be a blind Forge here. He actually didn't scout. The normal scouting timing is you go for... You do a pylon scout, so you send that first probe that makes the pylons go scout in one direction, and you send the second probe and you make a forge and you scout with that as well, so you double scout and then you're safe against everything. But this is also possible, so basically he's saying, okay, I'm just gonna not scout, I'll save that mining time, and I'll just, forge first and then Nexus. So forge Nexus Cannon, which should be safe against most builds. It will die to a 9-pull, but 9-pull is really not very common in this matchup, or any matchup. Well, I guess it's except ZVZ, I guess. But yeah, this is fine. The problem with this is, I mean, obviously you will die to a 9-pull or a 5-pull or something, and you're slightly behind against the 12 hatch. You can Nexus first against the 12 hatch if you scout it. So this, I mean, you're just kind of I think it's fine. It's like a safe build, whatever. So stats. He's made his wall here. I'm a little bit curious. He put the gateway attached to the forge rather than against the right cliff. I know on Fighting Spirit, if you put your gateway against the right cliff, it's tight, but maybe it's not on this map, so it's better to just put it against the forge. Either way, there's two gaps he's going to have to block. It's not tight between the forge and the gateway, so he's going to have to use two zealots or probes or whatnot to make sure that Lings don't run into his base, because that would be very unfortunate for our dear Protoss player. Anyway, looks like we have a third base at the 12 o'clock for Real 2. I'll just call him Real. I don't know. Real's a little bit hard to pronounce though. Maybe I should call him like Ryu, like the Street Fighter guy. That sounds kind of badass. Ryu. I don't know. If anyone can think of a funny nickname for him, that'd be cool too. Like B-Dog. Anyway, looks like a lair on the way for Real. Very standard stuff. 3 ashes at 3 bases and then going straight to lair. Let's see if he just goes for the standard Spire for Scourge as well into 5-hatch Hydra. That is quote unquote like the standard build to be doing. In the meantime, Stargate for stats, also very standard. Now, Sniper Ridge, in its old incarnation, was quite Zerg favored, just because of that Ridge outside your natural. If the Zerg gets a Lurker contained there, it is basically impossible to break out ever. So Zergs could just do like early Hydralisk aggression and then just set up contain, and you just like are on 2 base for the entire game. But they have since added a narrow ramp on the side, so there is a second path out of your base, even if the Zerg does take that position. Although I would imagine Lurker contains are still pretty brutal though. It's still not very good. In the meantime, we do have a Hydra already here, so that's a relatively quick Hydra den. Makes me feel like he is going for some fast Lurkers or something here. Usually, you know, you would be getting a Spire and some more hatches at this point, so that's a very interesting choice. He might even go for some kind of drop or something, I'm not really sure. It's not really the best map for dropping though, because you know, there's like this big neutral like water area by your main base, so like a slow drop would be quite difficult to pull off, I think. Anyway, yeah, it looks like there's some discussion about, you know, macro mechanics in the chat. Yeah, there's no larva injects, there's no ground queens. There are air queens in Brood War, but no ground ones. So yeah, basically, if you want more larvae, you just make more hatcheries. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. So, it looks like another hatchery at the natural, a second gas now being taken. A couple of Hydras out already, so it looks like instead of using Scourge to defend against the Corsairs, Real's just going to use his Hydralisks instead. So he's saved his money from the Spire. The Spire is quite expensive, it's 200, 150. And before anybody argues about that, it is not 200, 200, it is 200, 150. Go check Liquipedia if you don't believe me. A lot of people think still think it's 200, 200. There is really... Looks kind of bored. He looks kind of stoned, actually. Is it just me, or does he look a little bit stoned? You know? Actually, let's not pursue that. Drugs are bad. Don't do drugs. Stay in school, kids. Stay in school. And ooh, looks like the first Corsair does get intercepted by Le Hydralisks, who are actually flooding across the map right now. A couple of emergency cannons being added by stats. Notice that his cannon line is actually a couple of hexes back from his wall. That is intentional. That makes it more difficult for Hydralisks to run up and snipe things. Of course, that does make the gateway and the forge more easy or more vulnerable, but that is a pretty standard move, and it definitely helps against any kind of Hydra bust. Meanwhile, 1DT is moving out here, but there is an Overlord and a couple Hydras there at the third base, so I don't think it's going to be able to do too much damage. But there are Corsairs moving out, so if he tries to force the issue with these Corsairs, perhaps he can do some damage. It'll be very interesting to see. Meanwhile, Hydra's just poking the gateway and the forge at the front. I think the forge is actually upgrading something, so if he can actually take out the forge before the upgrade finishes... oh no, it looks like +1 actually already finished now, so that's not a possibility. And DT guy! I think he's gonna get away. It's gonna be close though, because Overwatch speed's already finished. Yeah, he is gonna get away, barely. And in the meantime, he hasn't actually made too many Hydras, so you know, it's not any kind of all-in, and it's also not even like the fast 3-hatch Hydra play that we've been seeing, or we saw a lot last season. He did get the lair first, and that's why his overload speed's already finished. By the way, is it just me or does Jaehoon have like a big scar on his cheek? Look at that. He looks like one of those like badass characters that just like has the scar on their cheek because it just shows that they're badass. It's so weird. Isn't it weird how like there's so many characters with scars on their cheeks? Like I don't do fencing or sword fighting or anything, but like if you're a fencer, do you just aim for your opponent's cheeks all the time? Like, is that what happens? Because if you're just swinging your sword around all the time, I can't imagine how so many people just get this like barely get their cheek grazed in such a way that they look cool, but like it doesn't do any serious damage. I don't know. I think I'm just being stupid, but it just always was really funny to me. Maybe that's like the first thing they teach you. Like maybe I should take up fencing, and then like the first day I go there, and like the coach is like, all right, you get like maximum points if you manage to hit the other guy's cheek. Could be. I don't know. I don't know. Hey, it looks like Real just setting up a lurker defense on his own ramp. Meanwhile, oh no, I think that's just a green range and somebody score. One lurker gonna chill here behind the third base. Oh my god, if he makes it a stop lurker, that'll be so sick. He can make it a stop lurker and wait for stats to take that expansion and transfer all his probes there, and then just kill like a million probes. If you don't know what stop lurker is, in Broodor, if you group a lurker with an overlord and you press hold position, or you use the lurker to attack a building in the fog of war, then it will actually not attack anything until you hit stop. It'll just sit there, even if enemy units run over it, it just won't do anything. And then you hit stop and it just starts attacking. It's a pretty cool trick, somebody actually recently did it in a ZVT. I think it was... I want to say Action versus some Air Force Ace Terran. Action versus Piano, maybe? I think Action versus Piano. It was Action versus somebody. Where he did like a really sick stop lurker. That was like this week too, so check that out. And yeah, you see? Look, he's not going to do anything. The Nexus is there. It's actually not in range, but I'm pretty sure that's a stop lurker. Oh, it's versus Firebat Hero, I'm sorry. I knew it was an Air Force Ace Terran, I just didn't know which one. So, it looks like meanwhile, Ling's and Hydra's kind of spreading out there, as you can see on the minimap. Looks like he's just trying to check for hidden expansions and whatnot. He's actually just running around everywhere. Very interesting. Meanwhile, can he snipe some High Templars here? Is he gonna snipe High Templars? No, it looks like he doesn't even try it. I'm a little bit surprised I didn't. I think he could have got at least 1 or 2 High Templars there for free, and maybe baited out an extra storm or something. DT at the 9 o'clock, making sure Real doesn't take that, but I think it's more likely that Real will go for the top right natural as his next expansion, and then he can get the top right main for free as a 5th base. But that's just me. That's what I think would be a good idea. So, yeah, meanwhile, looks like a bit of pressure here being put on by stats, but that is a lot of Zerglings, and Lurker's in good positions as well, nicely spread out. That's really not a very big Protoss force. He's just trying to put on some light pressure so he can expand safely. Meanwhile, looks like Ling's gonna see the Pro transfer, but look at this, he's not really being overly aggressive with him. He knows he's got his Lurker there. Oh my god, this is gonna be so bad. He's gotta wait for more probes though. I don't think he should release on this probe. You know, you never want to shoot too early, if you know what I mean. See, there's only like 5 probes there. You should wait for more. Wait until there's like 20 probes there and just skewer them all. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. Is he gonna do it? Looks like meanwhile, bit of engagement going on at the top right. Oh no! Oh, he released! Ah, Probo! Sick reaction time though, and there's only 1 lurker, so only got like 2 kills. Wow, that was not nearly as cool as it could have been. You should have put at least 2 lurkers there. Oh man, it does take 2 lurker shots to kill a probe, so that was less than exciting. Ah, darn it. Anyway, it looks like he's actually using storms to take this out. He's got a robo there. So he has actually the shuttle. Get to the chopper! Oh no, he's got cannons there as well. Anyway, and the observer gets there, but he storms it anyway. It does in fact take 2 side storms to kill a lurker, but it looks like in the meantime though, he actually forced a cancel on the top right base. Real had actually taken the top right main as his 4th, but then the Protoss Army moved there, and I'm pretty sure it was cancelled. So it's actually 3 base versus 3 base now, which does favor the Protoss, but it looks like we have a greater Spire on the way. That is very unusual. to see in ZVP. It's not like in StarCraft 2, Greater Spire is pretty standard to get those Brood Lords, but in Brood War, it's not good. I don't think it's good. He's going to be getting Guardians with it, but Guardians, that's going to be very weird. I mean, I guess the third base is a little bit vulnerable to Guardians. The mineral line is kind of against the cliff there, but that's a very interesting choice. Let's see what he does with this. In the meantime, looks like, drone at the bottom left does get spotted. Stats doing a very good job denying these expansions of Real. I think Real's being a little bit too passive with his ground army. He's got like 1 trillion Zerglings and a bunch of Lurkers, and he's just leaving them at his natural. Like, I don't know why he's not actually being active. Look how many units he has. He's just not doing anything. He does also have Defiler Tech, by the way. I mean, that is really, honestly, not a very big Protoss army. If Real engages that, like, head-on with all his Lings and Lurkers, I think he could probably win. Unless Stats gets off, like, the most amazing storms ever. But even then, like, the Defilers are out, so it'll be really tough. But it looks like we are going to have an attack here on the Protoss Third. A nice Side Storm, but there's the Dark Storm. But, oh, man, Reaver's already out for Stats. Stats with a pretty fast Reaver transition here, and that's going to be perfect against this the fast Hive Tech. Now Real's going to have to cancel his 4th base once again. Real just not able to get his economy going. Staying on 3 base versus 3 base for this long is just such bad news for the Zerg. I mean, and where's his Guardians? There are the Guardians. 2 Guardians being made at the 3rd base, as I said. He really wants to spread those out though, so one storm can't actually hit both of them. Yep, there we go. And see, and there's no real good way for Stats to actually deal with this besides storms, because it's gonna be annoying to get Dragoons back there, and he doesn't have any air units either. But I mean, well, actually, this is doing a little bit more damage than I thought. I didn't quite actually remember the architecture of like what this 3rd base looks like, but it looks like it's actually quite good for this this kind of Guardian harass. But yeah, see, the storm's just gonna take it down. 2 storms does kill 1 Guardian, so just killed a couple of probes, denied mining for a little bit. But Stats actually taking a 4th base at the same time as the Zerg. Stats keeping base, expansion, or keeping pace rather, expansion for expansion, which is really, really nice for him. Protoss economy, or Protoss units, just so much more cost efficient, just benefits so much more from those expansions. And one Defiler gonna get sniped here. Unfortunately, Stats is red, so if we see a monster plague go off, it won't be like as cool looking, but I still want to see some monster plague. Come on, show us the plagues. Show us the plague. Let's get a couple ults, gonna get cleaned up here from the top right. And I think Real has got some units there defending the 9 o'clock, but looks like we might have a big drop coming in here, a Doom drop. Now the thing is though, since Stats has taken the 3 o'clock, that's at least going to show him the drop before it gets to his main. So I don't know if Real might just invest or just dedicate the drop to killing his 3rd base. I'm pretty sure he'd rather go for the main base though. But let's see, and the problem is though, the main Protoss army is very, very close here. I think he's going to have to start dropping. He's going to drop a few units. Is he actually going to drop all his units here? Yeah, he's just committing all his units. But it looks like a storm drop here at his 12 o'clock expansion, and it looks like the drop, oh my goodness, gets completely demolished here. Oh wow. Reavers are pretty good against Lings, even when you drop them on top of them. Man, that must be so scary. Like, the Overlord's just like, dude, go drop on top of that Reaver and cannons. The 2 things that are pretty good against you. And are we getting some lag? Okay, no, looks like it's fine now. Wait, was that actually like lagging, or was Stats just like completely stone-faced? No, it looks like it is lagging a little bit. I'm sorry about that. But it looks like a Scout is coming out now for Stats. Scout 2 to take down Guardians. Now, Scout is usually kind of like a BM unit, but in this case, since the Zerg has gone for Guardians, I'm actually completely fine with this choice. Like, people often just completely disregard the Scout as a nonsensical unit, but actually, when the Zerg player is going for Guardians, like, it's actually the best way to deal with this kind of Guardian harass. Is you just make 1 or 2 Scouts, and you basically just cover your mineral line. It's actually worth it, because the thing is, you already have a Stargate, and he's invested a lot of money in Guardian tech, so even though a Scout by itself is not necessarily cost efficient, just because of what the Zerg has invested in his Greater Spire and his Guardian tech, it's actually nice. And look at this, he's actually made a bunch of Scourge here to help deal with the Scout. And people are saying, well, why don't you get a Corsair? The problem is, Corsairs, unless you've gotten air up, if you haven't gotten air weapons, they don't do enough damage, because Guardians have base 1 armor, so you're only doing 4 damage a shot. Actually, it's a 20% damage reduction unless you got +1 air attack. Whereas Scouts do insane air-to-air damage. Each Scout shot is 28 damage, and they shoot like almost as fast as Corsairs air-to-air. So if you only want them to like kill large units like Guardians, then Scouts are actually much more effective, unless you have like a lot of Corsairs and he has like a lot of air. But if you're only making like small amounts like that for harassment, it's actually much better. But oh my god! A huge play catching everything! All the Archons, Reavers, Dragoons, and the Shuttle, and the High Templar, and the Zealots. Monster plague. Unfortunately for real, it doesn't really do much to the Archons. And look at this, the High Templars and the Reavers and the Archons just proving too much anyway. But now the Ultralisks are coming out here. Here come the cows. And they are under a Dark Swarm, so that's going to make them super effective. The Archon's going to do almost no damage under that Dark Swarm, but is it going to be enough here? It looks like Stats is just going to force the issue. He doesn't care about the Dark Swarms. Is there even a Lurker there? I thought I saw a Lurker spawn. It might have died, but oh man, a lot of Lurkers coming in, but they're getting blocked here. 2 Zealots actually blocking the ramp. Stats doing a good job. He might just try and take down this expansion and pull his forces back. I think that would be a good idea, but look at this. He's just murdering the units as they walk up the ramp. Look at this, the Archons is doing so much damage. I mean, Lurkers are nice, but Archons just have such massive HP, and it looks like so much action is going on that we're lagging a little bit. Oh no, buffer into GG! Buffer into GG! Meanwhile, it looks like, wow, that base is actually not mining at all because of the Guardians, but the 3 o'clock base is up and running, and I think Stats is going to be able to kill this expansion as well. Wow, why is it lagging so much now? Everyone decided to tune in to watch the Zerg get owned. Nice. Anyway, looks like, yeah, this expansion, well, I mean, the base is not dead yet. He killed 1 hatchery there, but the hatchery that's in position is actually not dead yet. He has to pull back from under the swarm. Archons will only do splash damage under swarm, so they really won't do very much. And Zealots will do full damage, but the problem is, like, Zealot attacks are basically 2 attacks, so armor values apply twice. But it doesn't matter. GG from Real 2, and Stats evens up the score 1-1 between the teams. Real looking a little bit sheepish there. He's like, I tried, man. I made a greater spire. I won the moral victory. You did win the moral victory, although Stats made a scout, so I think that kind of counters that. But I actually don't think he even won the moral victory there, unfortunately. Anyway, yeah, so it's going to be 1-1 here. The next, whoever wins the next game will take the Brood War best of 3 for their team. And then we will get to watch some StarCraft 2 and hopefully watch Flat vs. Jaedong in SC2. Thank you, Majinzo. I'm glad you're having fun. Thank you to all the viewers. We are almost at 2K. I hope you guys are all enjoying yourselves. I hope video and audio quality is all good. And I hope the lag does not affect the experience too much.